Hello viewers, can we imagine a situation in which we are not communicating? Of course not, we can't, as we cannot not communicate. Today's topic of discussion is to understand communication, need of communication and importance of communication in human beings. We can communicate or we can send our messages with the help of any medium which we think that it will suits more and it can help us in achieving our goal and objective. For example, you can see here in visuals, we can take help of gestures to disseminate our message. We can use oral sounds. For example, whistling is a oral sound, growling, shrieking, all these are oral sounds. For example, in rural area, a father-in-law enters in the room, he do like this. So, what is this? Means this oral sound has some particular meaning for the women inside the room and they will get alert. We can also use sign and symbols to express our message. For example, there are many signs like there are Red Cross sign for the medical sciences, there are different symbols and sign like traffic sign and symbols. For example, there is a red light, it means that the vehicle should stop there and they will not go ahead. Like we can use words also to disseminate our message. For example, your written language which is not related to your body language. There is another medium which you can use to disseminate your message, that is your body language. For example, you can use like this to stop someone or you can do like this to it means the student should stand up or students raise their hands for at that time they are expressing that they want to raise some questions. So, it is not necessary that we are always using words to disseminate our message. We can use our body language also. In body language there can be your facial expressions. For example, you are smiling, it means you have a different mood. For example, you are sitting alone and you are in a sad mood. So, that is expressed through your facial expressions and your eyes. For example, you raise your eyes like this, it means you are surprised by something, and there could be many examples of body language. The next you can see pictures like paintings, like photographs, like visuals, like graphics, like illustrations. You can use visual medium or the pictures to disseminate message. For example, M.F. Hussain if want to share something, he create a picture and through painting or picture he convey his message. The next is musical notes. Through music you can express mood or you can express message. The next you can see is writing. Writing in you can see like in text, like in paper writing, like in for example, you can see in slides. So, writing everywhere we are using writings in advertising messages, in newspapers, in magazines, there are many forms of writing. What we share or communicate. The next question arises, okay, what is the importance, why, what we share in our communication? We can share our thoughts. Human minds have certain conditions, they always try to reason, they always try to analyze, they always try to communicate with themselves also. So, we have certain thoughts about particular objects, particular situation, particular context and particular situations. So, we have some thoughts and with the help of communication we encode these thoughts and express in front of our receivers or can be anybody or in front of our participants. The mode could be any, but in those modes we express our thoughts and expressions, means which are purely our thoughts, हमारे विचार हैं केवल. Then next is the experiences. From the birth until the end of the life you have so many experiences and during this period your every experience, your every past experience adds in your memory. So, while communicating you share these experiences. For example, a person watched a movie, so he or she can share with others, okay, I watched this movie and this was like this, and you can share story of the movie, you can share the looks of the heroine, all these things, means you can share your experiences. For example, now the person or the audience who are watching this presentation, they have their particular experience of this presentation and they can share this experience with others. So, we share our experiences also. Then next is information. Information is also very important, which we want to share with others, and it is always said that the most powerful is the person or the country which have the maximum information. So, human beings are curious what is happening around us, what is happening in our environment and what is happening in our lives, in neighbors' life, in their relatives and surrounding countries, all this. So, what is going on? So, they share their information with others. The next is the knowledge. Knowledge is very important, and we have all the persons vary in knowledge. So, particular person has particular knowledge and they share this knowledge. Knowledge को हम लोग ज्ञान भी कहते हैं. तो this knowledge has been shared among their fellow friends or their students or their colleagues, or it could be any. So, in books, with the books you can share your knowledge, with the oral verbal language you can share your knowledge, means everybody has some particular experiences and the knowledge, and the person share with others. So, that is also very important. The next thing is cultural heritage. We share our culture heritage with the help of communication. For example, India has a particular cultural heritage, and from the ancient eras we are sharing. For example, एक दादी जो है वो स्टोरी के माध्यम से अपने पोता पोती के साथ एक अपनी रामायण क्या है या रामायण के कौन से पात्र हैं या व्हाट इज़ द स्टोरी ऑफ रामायण, ऑल दीज थिंग्स शी इज़ शेयरिंग. सो व्हाट इज़ दैट? मीन्स शी इज़ पासिंग that cultural heritage to another generation, and with the pictures, with the books, with the individual knowledge, we pass this cultural heritage to generation, and the communication is important too. Otherwise, if there is no communication, we cannot extend our cultural heritage. As much as the means of communication or the mass communication increases, the cultural heritage is spread more. The next thing is why we communicate. So, every time whenever we are communicating, there must be a purpose behind that. For example, this the purpose of this presentation is to disseminate information or knowledge about importance of communication. So, there could be any purpose of your communication. For example, to increase generalization, as we are talking about human beings or the human society, human beings are living in society, they are not individuals. So, to increase generalization or to increase commonness in the society, to increase commonness in the thoughts of the group, thoughts of the society, we communicate. Okay. So, this is very important aspect of society as we are living in the society. If there is no common understanding, if there is no common thought in the society, if there is no common generalization, so the conflicts can be happen in the society. The next is relationship building. The very important aspect of human beings is relationship building. As I told you earlier that we are living in groups, we are living in a society. So, we have our relationship with our peer groups, with our neighbors, with our relatives, with our friends. So, to build these relationships, we require communication. That is why we communicate. For example, we want to build a relationship with a person, we have to communicate with that person, and gradually the relationship building goes on. Communication is a process. It is a continuous process, it goes on and goes on, it is never ending process. The next is to convince and agree others. For example, advertisement is coming on or there is a presentation on environment topic. So, we try to convince others or for example, you are talking with your friends, you want to convince on a particular topic, on a particular viewpoints. Everybody has different viewpoints. You convince others, you make them agree about your particular viewpoints, and during the discussion and during the communication, you make them agree, because communication is a two-way process. So, this process goes on. The next is to persuade. You can say to persuade or to arouse interest about a particular topic. For example, you want to manipulate someone or you want to persuade someone, you require communication. Without communication, you can't persuade others, or you can't build an opinion what you think. The next is need of communication. Human beings need food, shelter and clothing. This is our very ancient line which we always discuss. We can live without shelter, without clothing, but communication is as important as water, as air, because without communication it is difficult to survive for human beings. The need of communications are divided in three groups, like physiological need, psychological need and social need. First, we will discuss about physiological need. Physiological need means human mind has a particular structure and they have speech organs also, as you can see in or watch in picture also. You can see here that human minds has particular regular intake of external information which we require. That is the requirement of human mind. We cannot live without this requirement, and regularly we have input of external information. That kind of nervous system, that kind of speech organ, that kind of brain size we have. We process information, we store information, we memorize things, and then we can recall things, and then we can retain these things. We assimilate information. Second is psychological need, यानी कि मनोवैज्ञानिक एक आवश्यकता है. As I told you, human beings can reason, they can analyze, they can think, and they have so much of emotions, feelings inside. So, to share these feelings, to share these emotions, to share your thoughts, you felt the need of communication. For example, now these days this kind of research is going on, that the children who are living in metropolitan cities and their parents are their parents who cannot spend much time with them, or who are not able to communicate with them due to their busy schedule. So, the personality of those children not groom as compared to other children. So, that kind of problem, or the person who has kind of requirement. For example, you are sad, for example, you are happy, for example, you feel a kind of need to share information with your friends, with your family members, with your peer group or anybody else. So, this is psychological need. The third kind of need is social need. Social need is कि ये हमारी सामाजिक आवश्यकता है. As we live in society, we are the part of society, we are integrated with the society, and we are not living alone. So, to learn the process of socialization, to learn the social norms, how to behave in society, how to stand up, how to talk, what are the manners, what are the norms, what are the culture. Okay. So, all these things are related to social need. We for example, you can see here in this picture that we are celebrating festivals. So, it means we are all together and we share our expressions with each other. So, relationship building we need, this is social need. As communication is important, communication skills are also important for human beings, because you can express in a better and impressive way. So, this is the entire need of communication, that human beings cannot survive without communication. This is the integrated part of human beings, and communication skills are as important as communication. Thank you viewers.